The idea of next-gen consoles brought visions of new experiences, and here we are talking about a game that's pretty old in its soul. Resogun is a 2D side-scrolling shoot-'em-up that gives a big nod to older arcade games that stole our quarters or made us throw our controllers from their frustrating difficulty. If you really think about it, Resogun is the complete opposite of a next-gen game. Its gameplay style is old and only feels new because of its shiny graphics and beautiful sparkly explosions that show off some of the power of the PS4. But if you're familiar with older games like Defender, Gyrus, and Galaga, then you remember that those games were fun. That's what Resogun has going for it. But Resogun doesn't start out entirely fun at first. It's a little frustrating. The basic gameplay is easy to understand, but some of the other systems aren't clear from the start. The goal is who are trapped in green boxes. In order to free them, you have to destroy keepers, which are enemies highlighted in green. If you don't destroy them before they're off screen, say goodbye to a human. But that's not easy to figure out if you didn't read the manual, another nod to older games. With all the flair and chaos that's on screen, new players may not see that the keepers are glowing green. And who reads manuals anymore? Where's the tutorial? Personally, I read the manual because the systems weren't extremely apparent. But if you don't, you might struggle for a bit. Once you figure that out and you're saving humans regularly, you'll discover that some die unexpectedly, and the manual won't tell you why. You know they die from falling too far or if the keepers escape, but sometimes if you shoot the keepers in the wrong order, the humans die. Or perhaps they just die even when there are no keepers. That's because you need to have your score multiplier high enough. I had to look that one up on the internet. Things like that should be plain and understood from the beginning. The quicker you know how to play the game, the more frustration is avoided. If you happen to stick through the momentary frustration and learn how the game works, the journey becomes exciting and intense. You can choose 3 different ships. Each one comes with the same basic weapons: primary lasers, boosts, overdrive, and bombs. The primary weapons act different between each ship, and each one also has varying amounts of boost, speed, and overdrive. But even with all these weapons, it never feels like enough. Especially on higher difficulties, enemies swarm you constantly. You'll blow through a wave and another shows up. You'll clear out a horde of enemies trying to rescue a human, and as soon as you do, more show up. They're unforgiving and you're infinitely outnumbered. I gravitate to the Phobos because of its powerful primary guns that wreck bosses. But it's difficult to manage because it's so slow and the boost is limited and it takes a long time to recharge. I have to rely more on the overdrive. The Nemesis is great for clearing out enemies with its homing missiles, but expect to spend about 2 years beating a boss because its primary guns are so dang weak. There's really no best ship, you just have to learn to deal with their limitations and proceed the best way you can. Resogun is an old soul like your 20-something friend who has the entire DVD collection of the Dick Van Dyke Show and wears turtlenecks during winter, but they're still good looking. And Resogun certainly looks good. It's not the best start for next gen in terms of new gameplay, but its old school charm is hard to deny, and it's fun to play on the new console.